Welcome to the Poets Corner, episode 1, inaugural episode. So, we both being Star Wars fans were greatly disappointed, right? We would say, with The Last Jedi.
Greatly, yeah, greatly is a good term. Yeah.
But what did you think of it?
Total dream shattering, heart wrenching.
What was
most horrible thing I've ever seen? No, I'm just kidding.
What was dream shattering about it?
It was that horrible. I think it's when you set up a movie, right, and you do a movie, you set up a plot, you set up a little thin line, a thread, if you will.
You talking about J.J. Abrams' movie?
I'm talking about J.J. Abrams.
I'm talking about The Force Awakens.
Multiple threads in a movie. The sequel ought to answer those threads, or at the least, build upon the foundation that's already been set.
Right.
It felt like The Last Jedi was more of a parody of a sequel that should have been. That's what it felt like.
It felt like fan fiction by someone who doesn't care about Star Wars.
Yeah. It was very self-aware.
It's too self-aware.
It made fun of things
It made fun of itself.
Yes.
It made fun of itself.
Things that you would think they would take seriously. So, for instance, like the J.J. Abrams, at the end of his movie, when Rey is handing him the lightsaber, Luke Skywalker, spoilers, if you haven't seen The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah. So we should probably say that.
Yes, we should probably say spoilers ahead of time.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it by now, though, I mean,
it's kind of your fault at this point. It's been
not to mention, this will probably be in the title of the podcast. So, I mean, they're going to know.
So if you're watching this, spoilers ahead. Yeah.
We'll put that there.
So when Rey is handing Luke the lightsaber in The Force Awakens, there's a feeling of all kinds of mixed emotions. You read these emotions onto Luke's face. Mm-hmm. You can tell there's some type of contemplation there. We don't know what's going to happen. We go into the next movie. We're expecting something, and he literally takes the lightsaber and throws it over his side, over his shoulder. Just toss it over a cliff. Like he doesn't care
it's not even that. It's not even that you're totally mad at the fact that he threw the lightsaber. You know, it's not that you're like, oh, how offensive. How would he do that? It's more like J.J. Abrams was clearly trying to do one thing, and Rian Johnson was clearly trying to do another
something
thing.
else. Exactly, something else completely.
That's frustrating for Star Wars fans, though, because this is what I've been saying to people online, like, you know, people we argue with on Facebook about Star Wars. Most of the people who are saying The Last Jedi was so good and that they loved it, most of the ones I've seen on my personal Facebook, a lot of them aren't Star Wars fans. They just they honestly, some of them haven't seen the whole saga, and they're like, well, it was just a really good movie. And maybe as somebody who's outside of the Star Wars fandom, they might love that movie because of whatever that movie did. Mm-hmm. But when you take into account everything together, you then don't like it as much. It's like being a Batman fan and then watching The Dark Knight and saying, wow, really, really good movie. Not a great Batman film. Like, he's not Batman, but it's a great rendition of Batman. For real world, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I feel like people who are watching The Last Jedi and loving it, some of them aren't even fans. So we're talking from the perspective of people who, like, care about the entire story.
But even outside of the entire story, I think as a movie goer, somebody who loves and enjoys watching
so you didn't think it was
movies,
a good movie.
I'm just talking about, in general, the way you approach movies, the way you approach sequels. There's always a reason for something in movies. The reason why people like Breaking Bad is that there's always a reason for something. There's always something that... The plant that's sitting on the table isn't just there to be there. There's a reason why that's there.
Yeah.
And The Force Awakens set up those things, and it felt like Rian Johnson didn't pull the trigger on the gun. Instead, he said, you know what, I'm just going to throw the gun out the window.
Yeah,
or throw it off the cliff.
Yeah,
like
throw it over the shoulder.
Lightsaber. It's just, he got rid of so many elements that JJ had laid down. There was almost a sense of respect when you watch The Force Awakens to what Star Wars is, and then when you watch The Last Jedi, it's like a parody. It's making fun of itself little
humor,
too much.
and you find that mostly in the humor. The humor is so like anti-Star Wars. In the original Star Wars and everything, the humor is almost Star Wars cultural. It almost makes sense in that universe. It's not self-aware humor. It's not this humor that is like making fun of its own scenario or taking away from the severity of scenarios. Mm-hmm. You notice that a lot of the serious scenes where then humor was introduced, which is part of the thing I hated about Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where like the most pivotal, important scenes, humor right after, and not just like subtle humor, trying to make.
Why
you laugh.
Is that an issue? Let's talk about that. Why would that be an issue?
Because
when you're feeling something emotional, and then you make it into a joke.
Because not only that, if movies are supposed to be indicative of or trying to take us through a journey that's representative of real life and real struggles, it's unhealthy for someone every time they start entering into serious emotions to try to cop out with a joke.
Exactly.
It's almost like not just bad movie doing, it's almost like protecting the viewer from entering into an emotional state that might be good to take the viewer there.
Yeah.
That might turn that movie from good and entertaining to life changing or paradigm shifting. Like movies that just are afraid to go into darker zones, they might want to sell a lot of money. And yeah, you don't sell to kids with traumatic stuff. And I get it. These
Yeah.
BB-8 and all that, they're marketing to kids, but even then, it felt much like a Disney movie, and it's Disney. So what are you gonna do? They have control over everything, all of our lives, and eventually,
I don't think that's an excuse, man.
it's not an excuse, but it explains it.
Because Disney. I don't blame it on Disney as much as I blame it on Ryan.
That is true because Disney was in charge when J.J.
The Force
Abrams.
Awakens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
And Ryan Johnson is the director. He's the one who wrote this. He's the one who had control over this.
You have history with him.
I
though.
have history with Ryan Johnson. I do not like Looper. I don't like movies that Ryan Johnson.
You're the minority there.
I am the minority.
But why don't you like Looper?
Looper was frustrating.
Why?
Looper felt like a loop. It literally felt like you start off on one point. I know.
Is that what it was trying to do?
No, it was trying to be deep and very thought-provoking. But at the end of the movie, all I sat there and thought was, that was a waste of time. That was literally a waste of my life. That was a waste of my money. It was the first movie where I got up and said, I want my money back. I didn't go to the theater. I didn't go to the front of the theater to get my money back. But I felt that way. I was like
really no Looper. 2 out of 10 stars. You won't even give it 2. Wow.
Yeah, that's not even making the list at all.
Does Star Wars hate Hayden Christensen?
I think Star Wars fans do.
But why would you not invite? Why? But why do you hate Hayden Christensen for what? What did he do wrong?
Cats hate him. Cats hate him because
you're asking him.
Right,
you're asking him to say
prequels.
something like, "Hold on." You're asking him to say something like, "You're so beautiful," and be a good actor while saying that.
First of all, you can say that without looking creepy. Now, it's not just that he
I don't
wasn't
think that's
saying
fair.
it badly. He looked creepy when he was saying it.
I don't think that's fair. I think the best part about Hayden Christensen
He wasn't
was his
emoting
look.
very well. He wasn't emoting very well.
It's hard to emote when you have George
prequels.
Lucas saying, "Do it a little better, more intense." Do you know that's how he directs? How are you gonna? Okay, more intense. I hate you. Like, there's only so much you could do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't directed well. It wasn't written well.
Even so.
You really think someone else would have done better than him?
Look, the excuses don't go very well because there were other actors in the movie that did well.
That had better lines and were written better. Obi-Wan had better lines. Obi-Wan was
had
written
better
better.
lines, yeah.
And Obi-Wan's also British. Everything
Samuel
they say,
Jackson did well, but he always...
Samuel Jackson does everything well, but
he's the same.
British people sound smarter naturally, so everything that...
I don't agree with that. They sound sexier.
No, they...
No.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, British people sound sexier than we do.
You think that?
I think that. I will live and die by that.
You think British people?
Yes, sound sexier than Americans. And I am an American.
You are
who loves
so
America,
wrong.
But it's true.
There are probably 50 other types of speaking that are sexier.
No.
Hispanics?
No.
What?
No.
You're telling me that British people... Did you watch Les Mis?
Yes, I watched Les Mis.
They were all... Most of them had British accents. Because, yes. But you realize...
they were French, but yeah.
But most of them...
I love that movie, by the way. Funny story.
But hold on. You're telling me that these people...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You are telling me right now that that's the sexiest voice.
Absolutely.
I can't imitate it, but you're telling me that...
Oh, no, please.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yes,
no,
please, yeah.
You're telling
Our
me...
first episode, Alex. Hopefully nobody from... Actually, I hope they hear this. I hope that they know that I think their voices are sexy.
No, they're not, though.
I hope that they know that.
I mean, generally, you would
voices.
put Spanish-speaking countries, anybody who's a Spanish-speaking person speaking English, generally they would be deemed sexiest.
No.
Italians.
Let me say this. I'm half Puerto Rican.
That's like saying Canadians. That's like saying
Spanish people. We're just loud. That's what you guys think is sexy.
We're not talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about, like, the person, the Rico Suave trying to be...
No.
You're telling me a British guy?
No. A British woman. Woman.
No.
Yes.
No, we have to get a poll system because I'm positive that they sound smarter.
Maybe we should. Maybe on Twitter, when we post this, we'll start a poll. We'll have everyone kind of...
I'm gonna win this one.
See.
There's no way. There's no way that we're
British women have. They sound sexy.
More sexy than Australian voices.
I can't tell the difference between those two.
So hold on. If I put Australian, British, Italian, shout out to my wifey, Italian. Italians are gonna be number one for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second would be Cuban because I think my own voice is sexy.
We should take a poll on that one too. We should
That's a non-factor. No, we're not gonna do that.
On that one.
I don't need that.
Is Alex's voice
I'm gonna
sexy?
put. So you're telling me that I'm gonna hold on. I'm going in with Italian,
Okay.
Spain, Italy, Spain,
Like Spaniard?
France, the freaking country of love.
It smell like cheese. It doesn't matter.
Wow. What did you do
I'm gonna
there?
insult all the countries. I don't care.
I'm gonna go in with Italy, Spain, France, and you think you're gonna go all in with Britain and win?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
All right, I don't know, man. I can't agree there.
And British actors are better than American actors. I said it.
I just said that, but I just said that you and McGregor. You realize that some of his lines were really, really, really weird, but he sounds smarter saying them because he's British. It's like British scholars; they all sound
you admit
smarter.
that they sound smarter, but you won't admit that they sound sexy.
I said that from the beginning. I said they're smarter, and you're like, no, they're sexier. No, they're not sexier.
They are sexier. Yeah.
Americans probably are the least. It's the least sexy sounding, though. We can agree there.
Yeah, Americans are the least sexiest sound. No, German.
I don't know, man.
German women sound like dudes. I'm sorry, babe.
I don't know.
I love Victoria to death, but
you act like
German
she's
women
from Germany.
I know, but she's acting like she's offended.
No, bro. No. Germans, really? Germans?
Yeah, bro.
German women?
They sound
German
like men. They sound
German
like
men sound
intimidating.
They don't sound like anything significant to me.
Have you seen Rocky? No, that's a Russian. Same thing. They're basically the same thing.
I think that I think this is bordering on racist, but I don't understand. What I don't understand is how you put Britain as the capital of sexy. Britain is very much known for the opposite of that.
Actually, no, it is very much known for sexiness, sexy actors.
No.
Yeah, man.
You're not. No. Wait, who? You can't name one.
I can name 1,000.
Who?
Okay. Are we talking men or women?
Well,
because I don't want to get killed by our women.
Let's talk both. But it's not even. It's a neutral thing. It has nothing to do with. It's about sexy sounding.
So you're telling me right now, if you had a choice between Hayden Christensen reading your Bible to you while you go to sleep at night, or Ewan McGregor reading you your Bible while you go to sleep at night, who would you prefer?
I'm picking is Morgan Freeman. Argue with that. Can't argue.
Morgan Freeman. How
do we get on this conversation?
I don't know.
You said the blasphemous.
I gotta.
We'll put a poll out and we'll say who do you. And it's not even who you think is the sexiest because honestly, I don't.
No, it is who you think is sexiest. I want to win this.
I don't know. No, I'm saying what I'm saying is I don't associate. I don't think I'm not turned on by anyone's type of speaking. I'm like, you know what I'm saying. I'm happily married.
Speak for yourself.
But
no, I'm just kidding.
my point is not to say who do you think. Which is who would you associate Britain, the UK, with sexy sounding people? Yes. No. Like most people wouldn't. Okay.
Yes,
we'll see.
Absolutely.
We'll see how the poll does.
That's the poll. Would you associate British speaking people with their accents
with